Welcome everyone to Already Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Tara, and we are going to talk about the Twilight Zone. Season 3, episode 21 is called Kick the Can. So full spoilers for the episode as always. This one is set in an old folks home, where a particular old man by the name of Charles, or maybe Charlie they could refer to him as in the episode, he is hoping to go home. He's hoping that his son is coming to pick him up and take him home to live with him. He doesn't want to be here anymore. But his son has no interest in doing so. We find out that he's got a new baby on the way. He's got a small house. He doesn't want to have his old man staying there. So he's left behind yet again at the old folks' home. It's an episode, it kind of crosses over to themes that we've had in previous episodes, which is one of looking back at your childhood and nostalgia. And he wants to feel alive and young again. And he sees some kids outside playing Kick the Can. Something which I have personally never played. I believe that kids by the time we got to the 90s were just like, there's better things we can do. Hide and seek we played. Tag we played. Kick the Can.
Never played Kick the Can, never played marbles.
I had marbles, I never played marbles. I don't know how to play marbles. Marbles were cool.
Yeah, never played jacks. Played Pogs. Pogs and Power Rangers, that's what we played.
Definitely played Power Rangers. I never played Pog, so I do remember the Pog craze. It's a very distinctly...
I had a lot of Pogs.
Yeah, a very distinctly 90s thing is the Pogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this sort of rejuvenates him. He wants to sort of feel young again, and he tries to talk all the other old people into feeling young again, which devolves into him trying to wake them all up at night, because there's one other old man who's in the same, because they have like a sort of bunk situation where there's a bunch of them in the same room, and this other old man is kind of grouchy. He hates the fact there's always kids outside playing, and he actually goes to the guy the doctor who runs this place and says, hey, like, I think Charlie's gone senile, maybe you should send him to a special ward or something so I don't have to put up with his nonsense. And Charlie tries to wake up everyone else in the middle of the night at the old folks' home to go out and just play some games like they were kids again, because he wants to do it before they die, basically. And the Twilight Zone element of it, I'll just throw it in here because I feel like it's a fairly straightforward episode, but the Twilight Zone element is that when the grouchy old man wakes up and realizes that they've went outside to play games, he runs to get to the doctor, says they've went outside, they're playing games. They run outside.
They're breaking the rules.
They go outside, and there's no old people. It's just a bunch of kids. The old people have all turned into children, which is confirmed when he recognizes the young version of Charlie. And they've somehow turned...
because they grew up together.
Yeah, so they've somehow turned back into kids and are playing games. But this grouchy old man, who then picks up the can that's been left behind, sort of longs to be taken with them, but he forgot the magic. He didn't believe in the magic, and therefore he's left to die sad and alone.
Yeah, there's some real sad stuff going on in this episode.
Yeah,
the son stuff was really sad, I thought, and the ending is kind of heartbreaking, but also like it's nice for everybody else, but you know, the one guy who gets left behind it's kind of sad.
There's some hijinks, like when they're sneaking out, they have to distract like the nurse at the front desk, so they drop some firecrackers out the window or something to get her to look the other way. Yeah. So what did you think? What did you think of Kick the Can?
I thought it was a really good episode. I mean, this one I definitely remembered from watching previously. I think it's one that gets played often in like marathons and stuff. The New Year's marathon that the Sci-Fi Channel does. I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of the things that inspired the film Cocoon.
Yeah, I could see it. Spielberg definitely watched Twilight Zone.
Ron Howard, I think.
I mean, Spielberg produced it, I mean, as what I meant. But yes, Ron Howard. I'm sure both of them.
Ron Howard, who's an alum of Twilight Zone.
Yes. Although he's nothing compared to Clint Howard, of course, the true Howard.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Not if you ask Matt. If you ask Matt, then Bryce Dallas Howard is the true Howard, and everyone else comes second.
Yeah. I mean, she's great.
he's got a redhead thing. Like, seriously, if there's a redhead actress, like, trust me, he's built a shrine somewhere. Anyway, so yeah, I thought the episode was okay. I wasn't in love with it. It was sweet enough, but I never really felt it captured my imagination. I mean, the ending's sweet, don't get me wrong. Like, I kind of like the overall point of it, but I never really felt much drive throughout the episode itself. Like, early on when he's trying to convince the guy in charge that, oh, he's going senile, maybe he should be shipped off somewhere or whatever, I never really felt the threat of that, and it never really felt like, I guess what I could have used is when they're actually trying to get outside or to do something, maybe instead of the grouchy one waking up after they've already done it and running to tell on them, maybe have him be more of an obstacle before they get to go out, to make it more of a challenge. It just kind of feels like it's just the old man makes a speech, Charlie makes a speech to everyone about feeling the magic of being young again, and then they agree and they go outside, and that's the whole episode, really.
I don't know if that's necessary. I mean, maybe it's necessary for you to enjoy it more, but like, I like the message of, you're only as young as or as old as you feel, and so if you meet people who are in their late 80s or early 90s and they're still mowing the lawn and stuff, and then you see people in homes who are like 60s, and the people who've just given up on things, and like, you can still have a much more fulfilling life if you did things different, or if you still had some sort of inspiration behind you. But some people just are waiting to die, it seems, and I think this is a nice message of the options that you have, even though there's the supernatural Twilight Zone element of it. I think that is still the point of the episode.
Oh, the message is nice. Like, that's the thing. I don't think it's a bad episode. I think it's a very nice episode, but I don't think it's a super, like, because the best episodes of Twilight Zone to me are the ones that kind of grip me, where I'm like really on the hook. And sometimes when it does something like this, because I think the one with the radio, with the more sort of bittersweet looking nostalgia, I think that one landed better. I mean, I don't think that was a perfect episode, but I think that one landed for me better because there was more of a sort of hard-hitting sort of sadness to his realization.
Yeah, that was a real tragedy, I thought. Yeah. That episode.
Whereas here, it's kind of, I don't really feel much of an arc for the character in this one. I mean, obviously he's sad at first, and then he sees the kids playing. But once he's seen the kids playing and he has this idea, it's basically just him trying to achieve this, and then he achieves it, and it's done. Like, I don't know if there's much for him. I guess, suppose the argument is it's the grouchy one who has the real arc. He's the one who kind of, it's not until it's too late that he's not made this choice to still try and live, and now he's just waiting to die, and he's alone and depressed about it. So I guess it's a mostly symbolic episode, for sure. I don't know why it rained on its parade though. It's just one of these ones where I got to a certain point. I got towards the end, and I was like, oh, okay, cute ending, that's nice. And I'm like, I don't know how much I have to like really get into and say and talk about, because sometimes I like to talk about how they build tension in a scene or how they build this or that. It's by its nature a fairly relaxed style of an episode because it's in an old folks home with a bunch of slow moving people.
Okay. I did like the characters in the episode. Like, I thought they all had their own little quirkiness and were kind of fun. And like, just seeing them all get together in their secret meeting and stuff and plan on how to escape. And I don't know. I enjoyed it. I like media that's a lot more respectful to elderly instead of making them the butt of every joke. You don't really get a lot of that, it seems. When you do, it feels like nice, like this is the way it should be. And I think this episode is really sweet with a really nice message, and yeah, it's definitely one that I remember from before, and I'm sort of just making all the same points again, but and I do think you're right in that the episode is not so much about them as much as it is the grouchy one who is resistant to, not resistant to breaking the rules, and is the first to tell on everybody on when something's going wrong or somebody's doing something that's against the rules, and he has no sense of any type of play or happiness. Like his joy comes from following the rules, and that's just no way to live.
Yes. All he does is complain about the noise of the kids at the start. And then complains that Charlie's acting weird, and then complains that, he complains about everything every step of the way.
Yeah.
It's because I'm not suggesting, because you were making a point there about how sometimes or often even like old people will be the butt of the jokes, or they'll just be these kooky old characters. I'm not suggesting they do that. Like, you talked about how you like them having their secret meeting, like, and it's the idea that they're already kind of acting like kids, because even the idea of them trying to sneak out the house is very kid-like versus being adults.
Yeah.
And maybe part of that for me is like, the thought of being put in a place like this where someone tells me when to go to sleep, like, F you, like I'll go to sleep when I goddamn please. Like, what are you talking about? So I
lights out.
I like those.
Where am I?
But I wish they played up that a little bit more. Like the idea of them having secret meetings. Like, I would have loved more secret meetings. I'd have loved more of like almost the parallels of how they're being treated like kids anyway, like in this building. Through having strict routines, not being allowed to do certain things, not having freedoms. Like, maybe if they played that up a little bit more, I could have.
I mean, even having the character that snitches to the adult, on the other kids. That guy was funny. He said, like, it's hard aging. Like, when I started here, I was 30, and now I'm 42. And I was like, you're 42? You look like 60.
Sure, I had the same thought. I'm like, you look way older than 42. I don't know if I went quite as high as 60, but I'm like, you're at least in your 50s. There is no way you're 42. Yeah.
It's a hard life you're living. This place really does age you.
Apparently so. Maybe that's the joke, but I'm like, what have you been doing that's aged you this fast? Like, before you got here, were you like, I don't know, like guarding like serial killers or something, like a prison?
Must be, yeah. Maybe he was president. They age fast. Just a lot of sun without any sunscreen.
I guess he looked very weathered for a man who's only 42.
Poor diet and heavy smoker. That's what I'm going to go with.
But he also had lots of grey hair. But look, I mean, obviously it's black and white, but the hair looked grey to me. The tone of it. Yeah,
he looked old.
Yeah. He didn't look as old as the actual patients or the residents of the house.
No.
But he did look older. He looked.
But some people just have that, Some people just age early or they look older. I mean, he looked like he had been through some shit though. Like,
there was a comment actually. Obviously, this is about a little bit older because I'm 31 now. But there was a comment we got on YouTube once because I mentioned at one point I was 29. And someone said, "Whoa, you're still in your 20s?" I'm like, "All right, piss off."
That's funny. I get a lot of the opposite.
Oh, do you? Oh, you're in your 30s? Oh, you look you're barely out of college, Tara.
No, thank you. I hear that all the time.
We know the truth. We know the truth. Your Tara's older than me, everyone. Let it be known. She's the oldie.
I am. I'm the oldest one of all the Mouthfuzz crew.
I think that's actually just slightly.
I'm the elder.
Very, very slightly true, but that is true, I think.
Yes.
Yes, but you also eat by far the healthiest out of anyone, so you're going to outlive us all. So it's fine.
And I still play Kick the Can. No, I have no idea what the rules are for Kick the Can.
Also, it's just occurred to me now that there's probably a bit of a joke, because often you refer to someone kicking the bucket. Kicking the can's kind of like the kid version. That's not like, like, is kicking the can here a metaphor for kicking the bucket, so they're all choosing to like die, but die on their own terms. Like, they're all going out happy, playing on a field. More of a lawn than a field, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, kids, they can't help but love the grass.
That was a weird line of dialogue.
It was a little. Only because like grass at the time was used to refer to marijuana also. So kids can't stay away from the marijuana.
Apparently.
It's funny. Reefer madness.
Yes. It was. I mean, we're in the 60s now, so I suppose that that tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's an okay episode. I don't want to be harsh on it. Like, it's kind of this is one that, like, if I'm ever going to do a rewatch and just pick out the ones that I think are memorable or important, I probably will skip this one. Like, it's fine. Like, it's perfectly fine. Clearly, you liked it more than I did. So, I think for some people this will hit maybe more of a chord. Maybe because I do like the because the sentiment of like not giving up on your youth and nostalgia in a healthy way. I do actually really like that sentiment. I just wish the episode just had a bit more bite, either because there's more obstacles to achieving it, or because they maybe lean into they're kind of already been treated as kids angle. Whatever way you want to go with it, like, it doesn't really matter which. I wish they had a bit more something to give me a bit more of a bit more fun, I guess, essentially.
I wonder if this one was remade in the 80s version. I want to say that I've seen like a colorized version of this.
Maybe it was remade. I think there's a decent number of the 80s ones that were remakes of originals. So
I don't know for sure, but maybe.
Well, we'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
We'll find
eventually.
We'll find out when we get there. So
after Night Gallery, or
we can have discussions. We can have discussions about what show we transition into after Twilight Zone. If it's Twilight Zone 80s, or we go into Rod Serling's next endeavor. But hey, I guess we'll wrap up there. Well, we have to tell about what's coming next. All I got from the Rod Serling intro or epilogue at the end was it's about piano. That's all I got. Was there's going to be a piano of some kind. So let's see what IMDb tells me about this episode.
He's excited about an instrument episode.
Yes. It's called A Piano in the House. And the description reads as follows. Sadistic and hated theatre critic Fitzgerald Fortuna. Sorry, Fortune, not Fortuna. Fortuna. I thought it was an A at the end. I'm like, Fortuna. Fitzgerald Fortune. Right, so sadistic and hated theatre critic Fitzgerald Fortune buys a player piano that has the power to reveal the souls of all who hear it. Alright. that went extreme at the end.
Interesting.
Yes.
I wonder if it's going to be like that, is it Blood Theater, the Vincent Price movie where he's an actor who dies on stage because the film critic or the critics all hated him, and then he haunts them and murders them one at a time.
So, let us know what you thought of this episode of Twilight Zone in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all those things. It really helps on YouTube. YouTube spreads it out to more people. So please, if you like the content, please do hit the like button. Tara, tell them about Patreon.
Yeah, if you enjoy our reviews, please check out our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/MouthLessTV. And if you donate as low as $1 per month, you will get access to bonus episodes for other shows we do. And if you donate $5 per month, you will get access to these Twilight Zone reviews 1 week early. Thank you. I'm going to quickly look up Vincent Price movies, and maybe I'll find it before we end.
I'm literally about to say thank you once again for watching or listening. Get us on Twitter at mail.discord for channel updates. Keep watching TV in the Twilight Zone.
Theater of Blood. It's on Tubi for free.